Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sharing a Drink with Matt. Today I'm talking to the madness that is the Perpetrators. Oh, g'day, mate. Dave?
Hey.
How are you, mate?
Good, mate.
Here we go. One thing, how do you spell the name?
Which one?
Which band are we talking about today? Perpetrators.
You had it right in your meeting.
Oh, that's the right way?
Yeah.
Yep, sweet. So just the two of yous?
Three of us.
Three? Yep. All right, start off, who came up with the name? Or was it a group effort?
We were, we first thought we'd want to be get serious, so we thought about name, and I'd been watching and having a laugh, watching World's Wildest Police videos, and
see where this is going.
And yeah,
and get right in.
Yeah, so what was it first, Humpy? We were thinking about something first. It was like, on the other side of the law somewhere. But then I did some stupid impression of Sheriff John Bonnell, and I thought, and it just stuck out, something cool, a bit edgy. Instead of being on the good side of the law, let's be on the bad side of the law. So, he always went on about the perpetrators, so. And it just sort of gelled, and Humpy said, yeah, that could work. So,
yeah, why not? Don't fix it if it's not broken. This is a one each question. What did your parents subject you to as a child, music-wise?
Who's going first?
Oh,
I got a story. If I wouldn't mind. My old man was the Beatles. Everything was the Beatles. But what he would do on a Sunday morning, can't remember what song the album the song's off, but there's a song by the Beatles called Good Morning. And he'd wake up before all of us and go down and set the needle on the record player and turn it up to 10 and blast the hell to wake us up. That was my old man.
So I can honestly say that was what you were subjected to.
Well, and the humour comes with it. That's why I've had the schooling to get on with these gentle chaps, shall we say?
Excellent.
Oh, that's funny, Matt. My old man was jazz and Beatles and dirty rugby songs. That kind of shit. I don't know who bought the ABBA albums. I'm assuming him. That was the 70s.
We had a rival in our house, Hump.
Everybody had a rival. Everybody had a rival.
Dave, do you have a rival?
That's the one with the helicopter.
That's the one.
How else did they arrive?
We had that.
By boat?
Yeah.
I remember my dad used to play with his mates when they'd come over, and he'd put it on Derek and Clive.
Oh, just don't mention Sir.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, dear. I've told you this story before, Matt. We used to go to these jazz picnics on a Saturday afternoon. I can't remember who I was telling in the band about this, but it's very similar to what we do now. All the boys get together, you drink a shitload of beer, listen to music, have fun, live music, party time. What about you, Dave?
well, parents' influences. Well,
Yeah, what were they playing?
Well, unfortunately, Dad was a tragic, so it was Burl Ives from him. So that didn't quite cut it with me.
I don't know, Dave. The influence shows.
Yeah. Burl Ives, and Tijuana Brass. That was the high rotation on the HMV stereo growing up.
Oh, we had one of those too.
Yeah, and but Mum, she had a bit better. She was into the swing, so Elvis, Nat King Cole, things like that, which has really stuck with me. And I'm more into swing now than when I was growing up. So that was a legacy from Mum.
Wow, that's excellent. So what's on the stereo now?
Right now,
Well, what have you been listening to lately?
I had to listen to Gore yesterday. I love Gore. Just the normal stuff, AC/DC.
Mm.
I don't know somebody put out an album the other day, and I hated it. Oh, I can't remember. I won't say names, but I had to listen. I thought, this is shit. And I went back to the old music.
It wasn't the Taylor Swift re-release because that's been doing high rotation with my daughters.
It wasn't Taylor.
But I got to. I'm going through I'm rediscovering Caius. I'm going through a re-Caius phase.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I mean Spotify and everything. It takes you on these journeys, and it was like, oh, I remember that. That was like 20 years ago, and just read it's almost like you opened a photo book of 20 years back, but in your mind and the memories when you listen to music that you once listened to before. It's great. So
yeah,
Caius is good to me at the moment,
and it's great for finding new stuff. Like something will pop up, or if a new album comes out, you want to have a listen to it first. You go to the record store and you'd pull out whatever record it was and say, "Hey, can you just whack this on?" You'd have a listen to a couple of songs and go, "Great, I'm going to buy it."
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. JB Hi-Fi don't let you play Monster Magnet.
No. And point in case, I just bought tickets to go and see Queens of the Stone Age, and at the same time, they're going, "Oh, you're entitled to buy, the new releases." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, $73 for vinyl, $35 for a CD," and you kind of go,
Yeah.
"Geez, really?"
I'll get a burnt copy.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, I guess apples to apples, it probably wasn't cheap when we were kids, but spending $10 or $20 on a record doesn't seem like much now, but it was probably a fair bit back then.
Yeah.
But the prices now are ridiculous. Like, honestly, what kid's going to go buy a record for $70?
That's
and $70.
What kid's going to stumble across something? We used to buy records based on the cover.
Okay.
I wonder, I can't remember what the name of the band was, but they ended up being, it was like a death metal, thrash, electro, fucking punk crossover thing. It was horrible, but it had the best cover. And I remember taking it to a mate's place, and we listened to it over and over and over again as we got drunker and drunker and drunker. And he said, "This record's fantastic. How much do you want for it?" I said, "I can keep it." But it had the best cover.
Oh, no one can deny Eddie on the cover of Maiden albums. It's I'll speak for Andrew. Humpy. Sorry, not Humpy. Our bass player. He bought Maiden's first album just based on the cover. And,
Absolutely.
Somewhere in Time, I think it might have been. That's just an insane cover. Why not buy and have a listen?
But man, I was 11 years old. Same thing. Saw Number of the Beast. And what's this? What's this? And then I think I saw the video for Run to the Hills or something. I went, "Oh, that's that."
Yeah.
Okay. Lay down my $8 and buy a tape.
Yeah. So what's your favourite genre of music?
Rock, anything rock and roll, anything guitar-y. I'm not a big fan of pop music though. There's some stuff that's all right, I guess, but anything guitar-y, anything rock, anything with bit of attitude, a bit of soul, a bit of realness to it. Doesn't have to be top shelf, you know. Just has to have a bit of heart to it, I guess.
Attitude key. Anything with attitude, bit of style as well. Add some style.
Those Pauls and Marshalls.
Who's confident in what they're putting out and and backing themselves, not trying to be anybody else. That's where I come from. That's how I connect to music.
Going back a retrograde step to influences growing up, my parents were pretty tragic, but the main thing that got me going was my sister's Slade Alive album. Now, that is my cup of tea. It's just absolute balls to the wall, everything on 11, like just I can give it some stick.
Yeah.
They meant every word.
Yeah.
And we were the same here, like same thing, our older brother. So you had, Kirsten Alice Cooper in the 70s, and then he discovered, Midnight Oil. So I discovered Midnight Oil and the more Australian-y type stuff. Even we used to get a lot of those KTEL type various artist records, Raw Boar or Summer 76 or whatever it was. And you might have 20 songs on it and 15 of them might be absolute shit. but that's where I first heard High Voltage, was a compilation album, what was that version of Money by the Beatles? Give me your money. That's
something lizards, I think it was. I'll just let you in on a little secret here. It's a tragic secret, actually. But I have this little fetish where I've been collecting all those albums, and I've got them all. You know how they used to list on the back of the album cover? This album, that album, that album, that album.
Yeah.
I went on this. I bought them. I found them on eBay. I have them all at home now, and I play them to my kids, and they know. It's a bit bad, isn't it? But Olivia Newton-John. I'm the one you want.
Yeah.
Sing along to it.
Yeah. But but there's hidden gems in there that you would never find.
Without a doubt.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Sounds like the Perpetrator set list.
That's where we get inspiration, Dave.
The hidden gems you never really think about.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, if we get to the Pina Colada song, we might have gone a little too far, though.
Yeah.
Do some Janisine, you reckon?
Dancing in the rain.
It's on one of them, I'll tell you that.
So is there a genre you just can't listen to? Like, fucking shut up. Stop it. Oh, come on. I thought I was just barking for no reason.
Trouble will start barking in sympathy in a second.
A genre you can't listen to.
A genre or a band?
Yeah.
Get down.
That's a tricky one. I'd have to say, what would I say if there's a genre that I can't listen to?
I think there's lots I can't listen to. I just find it horrible. I find modern R&B to be absolutely disgusting. It has no redeeming qualities whatsoever.
I'll tell you something that I can't listen to, and I stand by it because I haven't even heard it, and I don't even want to listen to it, and that's Kanye West.
Same shit.
I just haven't heard it, and I don't have any interest. I don't understand how that guy is so popular without so many people that I talk to, they haven't heard his music.
Yeah.
But that goes back to a point of it's got no heart.
Mm.
It's a money-making exercise.
Mm-hmm. My wife said, I think I was playing, might have been the hard on something anyway, and I was singing the words, and she heard the words, and she goes, "Oh, fucking punk's just pornographic, blah blah blah." And we got home we got home, and my daughter had the stereo going, and it's this guy going fucking, I'm gonna shoot some smack. I'm gonna like this R&B rap shit, talking about fucking raping chicks and fucking taking heaps of drugs and doing all this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking what?
And that's the thing, like the hard-ons wrote love songs. They wrote nice love songs. Admittedly, it sounded like a buzzsaw, but yeah, same as the Ramones.
Yeah,
You know, they wrote love songs.
yeah,
They weren't crooning.
So did the Anti-Nowhere League.
yeah. Woman's got to be the most beautiful love song ever.
Dave, you've got this.
Which one is it?
The most beautiful love song ever.
Unforgettable with Nat King Cole.
Yeah, that was your wedding song, wasn't it?
No, that was Put Your Head on My Shoulder by
Ah.
Mr. Bubbles. Anything
Yeah.
swing, you know.
See,
There's holiday songs. There's holiday songs, you know, about that one they go to Cambodia.
That the honeymoon song, was it?
Oh, they in Cambodia. I think they're everywhere. Like I know what Dave's saying. Like like a song like Unforgettable. It's classic and sounds great, and the words are great, and the melody's great, and you know it's unforgettable. But you know, the Ramones doing "Hey Little Girl, I Want to Be Your Boyfriend." You know, that's unforgettable for a teenager.
Well, how about Rammstein? You've got a pussy, I've got a dicker. So what's the problem?
That's love right there, Dave. That's love.
Rocket Ride.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many. I don't know. Depends on your point of view too.
It's not for me. I'm out of it. I'm quitting. Blah blah blah. Is that ever fucking gone through your mind?
I don't know about quitting, but certainly get worn down. You never quit because we've grown up with this. You know, this is just what we know and we relate to. But in situations, and I'm sure I could probably speak for all of us here, but in different bands and different circumstances, you get to the point where you just go, I'm done for a while, you know? And it's not because of the music, it's because of the situation with the people.
Yeah.
And then you go away and you kind of, it's almost like you detox from it and you re-find yourself again. And then next thing you know, you're back in the ring again. You know, that's how it's worked for me. I don't know about you, Hump, or you, Dave, but that's the way I'd answer that one, mate.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that I've ever left a band because of a person or an individual, but there's definitely times where you sort of go, do I want to spend any more time with this? Actually, there was one bloke, not in this band. He was in a different band. He was a pedo. That was the worst band in the world where I played bass. But I've had times where I've sort of just gone, I just want to not do this for a little while. I don't like, it might be like a block of creativity or that kind of thing, but not for long.
It just gets a bit stale.
Hmm.
You want to try something new.
Yeah, I guess I've always had enough irons in different fires to, if something's, boring me or, getting a bit stale, there's something else to keep me interested. So, always have a few on the go.
Really, Hump?
If you can, Matt.
I'll have to talk to Dan.
Mate, that's hard enough work with one.
I actually interviewed the Splatterheads, not last week, but the week before. Remember the Splatterheads? Well, half of them hadn't seen each other since they broke up when they broke up. And in the interview, they said, hey, let's bring out Bot again, their album Bot. We'll remaster it and bring that back out again and maybe do some shows.
Yeah. Is that happening? Are they doing it?
Yeah, they're going to do it.
Awesome. Sorry, my dog wants to play. Sorry.
Mine is sitting there asleep at the moment.
Mine's just brought up his toy and wants me to throw it.
Squeak, squeak.
I don't know. Like Matt said, music's just it's just something I don't know, I've always done. Like I've played guitar since I was 8.
Mm.
You know, it's just always done it.
Yeah.
So you don't stop.
No. No.
Might change course, but you don't stop.
Do you have a favorite venue you love playing at? The topmost place you'd rather play?
Oh, the JR doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, so the good ones are gone.
Yeah, Cambridge was a good. I used to like the big stage at the back at the Cambridge. JR. Where else did we play that was good? They were my two big ones. I enjoyed. Horden Pavilion, not the Horden, sorry. What was the place now? There's a KFC there. The Palais.
Oh,
Yeah.
Palais was great. I liked the playing there too.
it was massive.
Yeah, it was good, and you could be loud as on stage. It was so good for that reason.
Yeah.
The sound would just,
Yeah.
I think
like venues today. Well, I'd probably go. I mean, I like Tea Gardens. Tea Gardens is good. That's nice when we play there. Yeah, it just has a great vibe. It's a shame there's not many pubs that are around these days that have good support for music. You know, it's just seemingly.
We played on Friday night in town at the Lass, and the Lass it's funny. It's set up for bands. Like they've got the little stage out the back, and they're happy to have bands in there, paying well. Like it's really good. But the way they're running it is, it's almost like the bands are getting in over and done with by about 9:30, because I think they got neighbour issues like every other pub in town, and then they have the doof, the disco stuff, because the kids, as kids always do, don't go into town till 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So why have entertainment for them before 10 or 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
So they're really setting their sights on, I suppose, catering for our age group. Yeah, and they have different styles of music there, but it's mostly it's heavier type stuff. But they're getting it done, before bedtime, which is great. I just don't think like for what the Perpetrators do, that the pub rock culture is really hard to find at times, and venues that support it properly. With a good PA and good lights and a stage that's set ready to go. Up here, there's a joint at Hamilton, which a lot of the guys play at the Hamilton station. They've just refurbed out the back now. They've got a stage. It's purpose built. They even supply backline and that kind of stuff for travelling bands, which is great. Because just the cost of travel now for bands is horrendous. If we were going to do some miles, we'd be a 3-car job just to card everything and everyone. So for a venue to supply drums and quad boxes and a PA, you can all get in the same car and do it. So there are some pubs who are up here in Newey that are accommodating bands like us. And then there are places, a lot of the clubs, they might have a band on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
But it's all very nice and polite. It's not like it used to be. It just isn't. And the kids today don't want it, I don't think. I think we're waiting for that next evolution to come through where the next teenager finds, the current Eddie Van Halen or the current Steve Jones or whatever it is, and, starts a band in a garage.
Yeah, well, Newcastle has always been ruled by the agencies. They've got 90% of everything stitched up, the venues, and the only the places we're successful are actually out of town, which, funny enough, have a big boomer population, where people will go out of their way to come and see us play the music they like. Like I said, that anything below 50 years old, there's not much around. So for audience wise, you might say.
49 and a half, Matt.
9-9.
Sorry, 49.99, Matt.
9-9.
But like, I mean, my kids are now, my two eldest kids are both over 18 now. One of them goes out, she's a bit of a party animal, the other one not so much. But, it's like we did, that they still go out at the same time at night and that kind of stuff. But they're just not into seeing bands. It's not their thing, and they haven't grown up with it.
Well, there was one occasion, Matt, which might be a good anecdote, is we were playing at Tea Gardens and we're having a great night. And there was a heap of people come up from Sydney for some function. Anyway, there's these millennial kids there, 19, 20-year-old kids up from Sydney. They were there with their parents or something, some wedding. Anyway, we were smashing it out. And after the show, the young kids were dancing and going off. And after the show, they came up to me and they said, "Wow, that was incredible. We've never seen a rock band. Actually, they'd never seen a 5-piece guitar, 4 on the floor, loud as shit rock band. They'd never actually seen one live, and they were just blown away, absolutely blown away."
Excellent.
And then the other nice compliment that follows that is you get the old guys who did see these bands back when, because we're all the same age, when we were younger, and they go, "You do it just like they did back then," or you make an Angel song your own, like you play it like you wrote it. So the guys our age, dig it too, which is good.
They play it like you stole it.
It's not like that we wrote it, but we lived it, and in that way we owned the attitude that came with it. Like we were all a part of it, and so we just wanted to keep going. That's how I feel about it. That's what we deliver, because there's that caption, that that caption of time that was, to me, magic of what we grew up with. And so
funny you say that. I had to write something for the Divers the other day for those shows coming up in December, and that's exactly what I said. Like, we grew up in 70s, 80s, and 90s pub rock.
Totally.
That's for want of a better term, that's what we were fed on.
Divine
and burgers.
Hey, hang on, I'm getting an album cover concept here, mate. What we were fed on. Third album's going to have something to do with teats, I think.
Mother's milk. Can it go like this?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be broken free. Like we'll be behind bars and second offence, and then it's broken free.
Back in plaid.
Escape to the bosom.
Corduroy. Back in corduroy. Brown corduroy.
You guys, you were given, this is one that you've got to each answer. You were given the opportunity to put on a 5-band gig. Who are those dream bands that you would put on that gig?
Is it limited to Australian bands, or where are we going?
To death, alive, Australian, non-Australian, 60s, 90s.
Jeez, that opens the doors wide.
So you want 15 lineups?
Yeah, without
15 bands. All right. So there'd be Kiss from 1978.
Oh, I was going 77. You got me.
Maybe 1980 playing 1978. There'd be Bon Scott, AC/DC. There'd be the Sex Pistols. There'd be maybe the Ramones and Motorhead.
Seeing them all.
I'd be going.
I know. They're great.
Yeah, seen everything on that list.
77 Kiss is where I'd be, not 78. Sorry. Yeah.
Stop cock.
AC/DC with Bon Scott for sure, no doubt about it. Then there'd be Zeppelin for me. Sabbath, definitely Sabbath, the original Sabbath. Like, yeah, that stuff's gold. I would have loved to have seen them. And then Cream. Cream's the other one. That's a big one.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely Bon Scott AC/DC for sure. Early Angels, 79, just for sure. Grunt, Zep Sabbath. But for mine, 2006 Rammstein.
Nice.
It's absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
And the Spice Girls, do they fit in there somewhere?
I actually watched that Beckham doco last night. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. She comes off well in that.
Yeah, they're both
Doesn't come off as a character, you know?
a couple of working class kids done good. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What show are we talking about?
Beckham. David
Okay.
Beckham.
Yeah,
Sorry, it's off topic.
the movie
Hey,
series.
just a question. Do you know who the 6th Spice Girl was?
Oh, this is a joke. I know.
I'll cut to the chase. It was Paul Stanley. He wanted to be called Old Spice.
Oh, fuck
Oh my God.
oh,
Sorry.
Sorry. That's enough out of you.
Read it in an interview. True story.
You can edit that one out.
I remember when he was saying that shit.
Yeah, back in the day. They should cop a bit of Old Spice. Yeah.
Dear. Outrageous.
Do you guys play covers? Or any cover?
Yeah, the main thing we do is covers. So
No. The main thing we do is originals and write music, but we also do covers.
Covers is our day job. Oh no, I mean that's what the band was started on, was doing covers and that kind of stuff. But we've been writing our own songs pretty much since we started.
Yeah.
We did the first album. When was that? 2018.
5 years ago. I got a reminder. We're in the studio 5 years ago. If that's what
2018.
The first one, yeah.
So we did that, and then we. I mean, I'm always writing stuff. I'm sure Matt, you're the same.
It just
we started trying to put something together for album number 2. I was reading some old promo stuff. We were talking about it back then. Started doing new songs for album number 2 in 2018.
Yeah.
And then we had a lineup change. And then we had COVID. And then we had whatever happened. And then Limpy broke his foot.
Yeah.
And then, all right, let's get back on track and do these new songs again and find out what we like. Well, the album's worth of stuff there. But we got into the studio this year and we were all but done. We had some lead guitar stuff to do and some vocals to do, and then we were finished. We'd done it all. Taken us, so long to get in the studio.
Yeah.
And then human error kicked in.
How was
Short stories, we've got to go back in the studio and start recording again.
yeah. You've been together since, so you got how was COVID? How did that hit you as a band?
Ooh.
Look, if we were a proper working band, if that was our income, we would have been fucked. I think the fact that we do this for fun, it's not a source of income or anything like that.
Very interesting.
So probably not so bad. If anything, for me, it was just that we couldn't get together and have fun. That was more the hassle.
Yeah. And then the internet lag. I remember I was actually thinking about this today, Humpy. We tried these Zoom sessions and we're all sitting down with our instruments and Ant would play something. And by the time I'd heard it and would play back, there was a whole lag that went on. And it was just, yeah, you're right, mate. That collaborative in the same room.
Right.
Yeah, geez, I missed that. That was the harder part. Because honestly, that's what we thrive on. That's what we do best, I think. That's what comes across. Yeah.
Yeah, the human interaction side of things.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the scary thing is there's a lot of people who make a living out of this who couldn't, and it really fucked them up.
Yeah.
Mm.
What about because you've all been in bands for a while, true? For
Yes.
me,
Many years.
so how has the internet affected the music industry, in your opinion?
You'll cop some opinions here. You really will.
You want to go first, Matt?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
When music for me, when I first got into it, it was a rare gift. You'd have mates, you'd have tapes that you'd copy, or if you had the album, you'd record them for all your mates. And it was like a trading kind of bonding kinsmanship. Oh, you've got that. Oh, oh, wow, I'll trade you. And you'd get stuff written from your mates, like on a cassette, and they'd write the songs. Remember, you'd have the little things with the songs, and then you'd do your best to do the graphic of the band on that little front part of the tape, and you'd write it, because you'd be judged on that when you'd pass it on. Right. and there was all of that sort of stuff, and then, you'd buy magazines, and you'd see this stuff that you could only order from America. It was, oh my God, this is almost untouchable. How do I do that? And then if one of your mates got it, they were like a god, because they owned the shirt or the rare album, and the trips to Utopia down in Sydney. I don't know if you remember the record store. You'd just be in there and flipping through stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it was gold. And then, like internet comes around, and all of a sudden accessibility is just blown wide open. You can download, you can, and to the point where you lost all of that, like that. It was like a currency of ownership was lost,
Tactile.
To me, that's what I think the internet has done. So now you can, as I was saying, you can stream, you can blah, 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 you can do whatever, you can get accessibility to everything and anything. And so that currency of ownership is lost. The only thing that I find that the internet is giving me at the moment through Spotify is associations to music, as I was just saying earlier. So if I pull up a song and I listen to it, I go, oh, that's great. And then it'll give me a suggestion of some other music. And I'm like, oh, what was that? And that's the only thing that I find the internet's doing. But other than that, mate, we've lost that currency of music. I think that's my opinion.
I think you're pretty close to the mark, man. It's that tangible thing. It's like I said before, it's going into the record store and holding it and looking at it and taking it home and showing, look what I got. It's, as you said, with the tape trading stuff, man. I was talking. It's twofold. The internet's fantastic because you do now have access to a lot of stuff that you would never had access to. I was chatting back and forth with Mark Gallagher out of Raven, lead singer out of Raven, and something came on about an album that came out in the 1980s. It's called All for One. And I told him how I found, we were having a chat about how I found their music, and it was through tape trading. There was Metallica on one side and Raven on the other side.
Okay.
And he's saying, how fucking fantastic is that? You're in Australia, like we'd never been to Australia. It was 1981, 83 maybe.
No.
When did Kill 'Em All come out? 83? Thereabouts, And he was saying, we'd never been to Australia. Like, how did anybody in Australia know about us?
Yeah.
Well, there was this tape, and it had Kill 'Em All and All for One. And that tape did the country. Everybody had a copy of it. I think, Dave, you probably had a copy of it.
Yeah.
So the tape trading side of things back then, the opening the record and putting it, the ritual of the record. The kids don't have that, you know, sitting around in front of the stereo and just getting smashed. The kids don't have that. My kids just don't do it. Music's a background noise almost, you know. They sing along and they like what they like, and that's great. But there isn't that I don't think there's that relationship with it, that connection with it, you know.
The concept of an album.
Yeah, the cost.
Sorry, Dave. I got a little wound up. You go, mate.
Well, in essence, is that in the overstimulated world, which is the internet, music has only become a small fragment of the stimuluses available on the internet. Anything from hardcore porn to bloody cat videos, right? You know, so there's unless you're really into music, music's just a little niche over here. You know, where back in the day, the youngsters didn't have many options. The parents controlled the TV, and you know, music was something they could do in their room. You know, put the record on. So that's where you retreated to into a record.
Yeah.
Put the headphones on, or I used to do before headphones. I used to lie on the floor and put the speaker either side of my head to get the proper stereo sound.
Yeah. But the other side of that too, as a tool, it's fantastic. Like we'll have rehearsal, you know, record rehearsal or a new song we've written or whatever it is, and I can mix it and I can send it around to the boys, and then, you know, Matt might sit at home and on his computer he might re-record a solo or something, and, you know, we edit it and we almost do our wood shopping via internet, you know, which makes it really easy.
Right.
You know, the bad side of home recording is that anybody can do it. The good side of home recording is anybody can do it. You know, and you know, if we could actually pull our fingers out and do it, we could record a song at home in one day and have it out streaming the next day. You know, the internet's great for that, but it saturates the market. The good stuff's gone, and the guys with all the money who could back a band, like a band like Kiss, for example, their first 3 albums, they did nothing but lose money for their record company. Nothing but lose money, you know. Wow. And it wasn't until the live album came out that all of a sudden, the kids, you know, it sounded like the way that band was meant to sound, and then, you know, they made money from there. But record companies these days don't put that kind of investment into bands. They just don't, because they don't make the money back. I was listening to an interview the other day, and somebody was saying something. It was along the lines of, and this is a podcast that one of the guys out of Twisted Sister does, and he was talking to a producer, and he was saying these days, unless a band is doing 1 million streams of a song, a record company won't even look at them. You know, bands back in the day had put the tape in the envelope and sent it off, and, you know, here's what we do. These days, if you don't have 1 million streams, why bother?
So I'll ask you a question, Hump. At what point then does a band or music be considered an influencer on the internet?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's what does it take to get 1 million streams?
Yeah, scary.
So chances are it's a video with your tits out. You know, and you guys just won't let me do it.
Say you had the opportunity to do the score of a movie. What genre of movie would you prefer to do?
Scary.
Kiss meets Phantom of the Park. Sorry. I just had to throw that one.
I had an idea a while ago for a series of porno movies that were based on a rock band. So it was always the same 5 blokes, but then it'd just be this stream of birds. So then I thought, being the ghost band who actually wrote the music and all that kind of stuff, but you'd have these porn star blokes being the band. So how about B-grade porno? Don't steal my idea, all right?
Yeah, I'd have to go sci-fi sort of technical kind of stuff with I don't know, just music behind it. You know, when your mind is, I don't know if you get that, but you watch stuff and your mind's like, oh wow, there's a universe, or there's that's going on, or this, that, and all the realms of possibilities. And I'd love music to be backing it behind it. That's where I'd be at.
Would it be guitar music, Matt?
Definitely. But you know, rock. But a lot of it probably instrumental, but then also, I don't know, you know, attitude where required with vocals, you know. That's where I'd be going, though.
Nice.
My one would be, everyone knows this sci-fi movie, old movie called Dark Star. John Carpenter's first one, you know, and sort of mix of that with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know, really high spec sci-fi, but with comedy elements and just really crazy music, sort of like Rocky Horror Show in outer space or something, you know.
I listen to this music.
Sounds so good.
Yeah, let it go. I can't throw it.
You haven't mentioned Dark Star before, Dave. I didn't know you knew that one.
Oh yeah, that one and Silent Running.
It's a cracker.
Classics, yeah.
Love the alien.
I have the arguing with the bomb. You know? Bomb 43. Please return to the bomb base. Yeah,
it's a great movie.
I was in one stage was buying soundtracks to movies back when in the vinyl days and everything, and there was my favorite three were Rockin' Roll High School, obviously, and then Eric Clapton doing the score for the movie Rush.
That's insane. That's great. Yeah, that's a good one.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And the third one was Paris, Texas, which were fucking don't even remember his name that did it.
That wasn't. Was that the guys from ABBA?
The what?
Was that the guys from ABBA that did that?
No.
What they do? One Night in Bangkok, maybe.
ABBA did One Night in Bangkok? Well, the guys from ABBA did that? No.
There was a movie they did the score for, late 80s, mid 80s.
I'll have to go and check that. Yeah, didn't know.
Might be that. Might have been a musical called Bangkok.
B-Rate?
Yeah, because Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan and Greg Bissonette used to do it as their solo in the David Lee Roth band.
Oh, right.
I'll see if I can find the video. I'll see if I can find it for you.
And someone's Googling it.
Yeah, probably. I got to say, though, and getting back to this album format and stuff that you're on the internet and whatever, but the best album that I thought was a soundtrack that wasn't has got to be War of the Worlds. That's insane. And I remember I played that to my daughter, my oldest, actually not long ago, a couple of weeks ago, the vinyl, and had her flip through, you know, all the, you know, there's a whole illustrated, insane booklet inside of the Gatefold album. And she was blown away. Like, what's this, Dad? What? You know, like that's, again, kind of what we grew up with, you know, like that sort of stuff. Yeah, I know.
But even like an album like Bad Out of Hell or, you know, The Elder. You know,
Kiss Alive 2. You open that up. Oh, my God. You know?
I think more of the storytelling side of things, you know, it's.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
You know, that kind of stuff takes you on a journey. A journey into sound.
Well, I saw an interview with Quentin Tarantino, and he said that he gets the soundtrack in his mind first and then makes the movie around the soundtrack.
Really?
That's what he said in an interview, yeah.
Definitely for some of these movies, I can see it. Definitely. I don't know about Hateful Eight, though. I don't know much music in that one, but other ones, yeah, for sure.
So were you guys given any advice when you were younger about the music scene? Like, were you lucky enough to have?
Can I ask them a question?
Not yet. Were you lucky enough to get advice as a young fella starting up?
That's a really good question.
I got some advice in music stores because when I was a young bloke, I'd always just go and hang out in music stores, and a lot of the times there'd be musos who'd work there at the stores. And I remember the band I was in at the time, we were going through a lot of issues with the manager and moving and whatever. And the drummer pulled me aside and gave me some advice, and he's like, just go with what you believe. Don't let people fuck with you. That was the advice. And he put me in touch with a legal guy and the whole deal. And he just said, look, son, you've got your feeling of music, of where you want to take it, and you just go with that, and you don't let people push you around. I mean, that was the advice I got.
Yep. Fair enough.
Oh, man, like, it just is, like I'm so lucky to be with these pair because, and the rest of the band, because we've all been there. We know what it's like, and we know what it means to be good and to enjoy. And that's the best part of this band. That's what we do. We do that well too.
I had no instructions at all. It was all trial and error. But one thing I did figure out early on, which I passed it on to people, back in the days as I went along, was that do what you want to play what you want to play, and as soon as it feels like work, stop, because it just sucks all the joy out of it. As soon as it becomes a job, or you feel like it's a job or it's work, just stop what you're doing and do something else.
All right, go on.
No, Dad, no.
Okay, we'll just say it.
Can I write it down and you say it?
Just say it.
Hang on, we haven't got Hump's response yet. I'm curious.
Oh, yeah, true.
I don't recall ever getting. Honestly, I don't recall getting any when I was younger. I started playing in bands when I was about 12, or I started jamming with people when I was about 12. So there was no advice to be had back then because, like Dave said, you're just sort of learning as you go along and bumping your feet and knocking your head and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember one of my first gigs. It's not really advice. It was just commentary that you had to take on board when they said, what was that last song you played? And I said, that was Ace of Spades by Motorhead. And he said, no, it wasn't. We realised that we just fucked it up and learned it completely wrong. So know what you're playing. And then, later, I guess with us, it's just something that, we've sort of been the motto of this band is if it's not fun, don't do it.
Yeah.
You got to be enjoying yourself. If we're not enjoying ourselves, it's just not going to work. So enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
No, and I'm sure it's different for people who make money out of it, but for us, it's fun.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's quite.
Okay, so say your question.
How old were you when you started to like punk?
How long? No, what was the question?
How old were you when you decided that you liked punk? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let the others answer this one.
I decided I liked punk when I saw Tim Brooke Taylor with a safety thing on his head.
The safety pit, the spaghetti restaurant.
The Goodies Punk episode. And And who wore spaghetti bolognese? Yeah.
But alive. So.
No, I would have been. No, seriously, I would have been 10, 11, and I heard this stuff on the radio. Just this stuff, and I'm like, what the hell is that? That music's just an assault with attitude, and what I don't get it, because other music was more melodic. There was a theme to the song that was easily accessible. I mean, I'm not saying that punk doesn't have a theme. And then here just comes this music that's like thrown at you with bucket loads of attitude, and I was like, what is this? What is it? And the easy criticisms of punk were they can't even play their instruments correctly. They can't even sing properly. They can't do anything right. That's the easy criticism. But that's not the point. Punk is more an attitude and just a push forward of this aggression and message that you won't get straight away until you really listen to it. And I would have been 10 and 11, and I was just, whoa, wow.
Yeah.
That's what punk is.
That's the thing. Punk was an absolute reaction.
Yeah.
It was, you had your, ELOs and Emerson, Lake and Palmers and all those kind of guys, Rush and all these guys who could play. And, that's not to say they're bad, because they can, because that's what they do. But then you had these guys who just went, no, I just want 2 minutes of, and you had bands that do that. I mean, you got bands like the Pistols and the Ramones that are just, and the Dictators that are just straight rock bands. In a different world, they're just Elvis Presley.
Yeah. I look at the Sex Pistols as a country band, to be quite honest. Yeah.
It's a similar kind of music, and it's especially the Pistols. They're storytellers. You listen to what Johnny Rotten sings; he tells a story.
Yeah.
Admittedly, he doesn't brush his teeth, but that's Johnny Rotten.
Well, Pistols for me was the punk, because I was in high school when Never Mind the Bollocks came out, and I just, because I was in Sabbath at the time, the ponderous sort of riffs and everything else. But then I heard, I loved the guitar sound. And then I heard the Pistols, some of the Pistols songs on the radio, but very rarely. But I just thought the guitar sound, and the attack on the guitar and just the mix, it was just like, wow, I haven't heard guitar sound like that before, which was different to Iommi and Sabbath. It was just that energy and brightness or something in the guitars, or that first sort of chunk of guitar sound, which we hadn't heard before. And I think it laid the bedrock for a lot of hard rock and metal to come, as far as guitar sound.
Oh, it absolutely did.
And
absolutely.
An attitude. Because I think at that time, a lot of people were getting quite introverted or focused into their music, and pulling the faces, and like big long musical journeys, and then punk just comes out and goes in your face, which is great. It was very refreshed, almost like grunge was to glam rock.
Yeah.
But like with anything, it's, you get like the good stuff. It's not necessarily the guys that came first, but you get guys who are good, and you get guys who are just following a trend. Or and like any scene, they ruin it for everybody. But the fact that out of punk, you then got bands like Duran Duran and New Order. You got the New Romantic stuff out of the punk scene. You got Blondie out of the punk scene. Talking Heads. Oh, I lost internet, or somebody else lost internet.
Dave's
there we go.
So
it just changed it. But I was listening to punk bands. I didn't even know they were punk. I didn't know the Saints were punk. I didn't know Talking Heads were punk. I didn't know Blondie was punk.
Yeah.
These were just bands you listened to. They were on Countdown.
I saw the Saints at Monavale Hotel. That was fucking different.
Well, the biggest argument really is, did punk come first in America or England? I say America, and even Australia. England definitely started the uniform. It was England that started, started fucking leather jackets. That was England. They did that first. Before that, punk was just short hair and t-shirt, fucking pair of jeans, like the Germs and fucking bands like that. But England.
It's funny though, because AC/DC toured the UK in '76, I think it was, and they were advertised as punks from down under. Now, never mind the bollocks. That was '78, and then the argument there is that the Saints' first album was recorded before Bollocks, but Bollocks came out a month before the Saints' first album.
Yeah.
So that's the argument. And then the argument was, where did the Ramones fit into this? And I'm sure there's a billion other bands that I don't know of that, around the same time, because that's just the scene. But I mean, the American version and the English version are two very different things. You think of television and Blondie, Talking Heads, Ramones. It's not the Sex Pistols. No. It's not the New York Dolls. Yeah. They're probably as close to the Pistols as you could get, but you look at them and they're so different. It's crazy. Lou Reed. How far back does the Velvet Underground go?
Oh, fuck.
It's
early 70s.
Yeah, and that's the thing. To me, it's just rock and roll. It might be 2 or 3 chords and half a dozen words, as opposed to really nice worked melody that works really nicely against some classical piece.
Yeah.
But at the end, it's just rock and roll, and that's how it should be. It should have, like I said before, it should have feeling and attitude and soul. Yeah, you don't have to like the music, you don't have to be into it, but at least if it's got a bit of humanity to it, it feels like something and it's good.
The thing I'd say to that, Hump, is the more you enjoy music and the more you realise there's actually no categorisation or boundaries on it. You know what I mean? Like,
nor should there be.
Yeah, that's right. And so these genres that people talk about, I go, yeah, I can kind of see it, but I don't necessarily subscribe to it.
But it's you've got to put things in category so you know what team you're on. That's the human way, isn't it? Do you like this or this? Well, I like both. Well, you can't like both.
Well, yeah, that's
I can. Watch me. It's the funniest question. What's better?
Oh,
how can I tell you what's better? Yeah, I've got an opinion. I know what I like. Doesn't make it better.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, me and Matt have this argument whenever we have a few drinks in us: Stones or Beatles.
That's right.
Stones or Beatles. And I don't know if you've changed your mind or if I was just pissed, but Beatles every day of the week.
Mate, I was woken up to it when I was a young fella, so
but you read the interviews now with both the Stones and the Beatles, because the whole thing at the time was you were either this camp or that camp.
Yeah,
you couldn't like both of them, but they were all sitting around getting high together, like the infamous drug bust with Keith and Mick. And I was right. Let George and John go, because in the paper it's going to say Keith and Mick got busted, and the Beatles will be squeaky clean. So let them go, and we'll take the blame. Yeah, that was a management thing.
They played that image. The Stones were the bad boys. They went the bad boy.
Exactly.
That was.
But and this probably gets back to how has the internet ruined everything? Not everything, but a fair swag of things. Is that mystery of what bands were what? Like, Kiss for you and me is the obvious thing here. You didn't know anything about them except what you saw in the paper. But, go back to the time of the Stones and the Beatles, you didn't know anything about them other than what the media showed you.
Yeah.
So the best job to have would be a publicist, right? We're going to make you the baddie. You're going to be this. We're going to tell them that you guys fight all the time, because that's then whose side are you on in the band?
Right.
It's the fucking block. It's drama.
But
now,
that's what people thrive on. They thrive on that. That's what
But you didn't have that other bit of people going, well, here's the actual photo.
Yeah.
Here's.
We haven't gotten to that point yet. Like I think we need to get to the point where perpetrators are like breaking down internally. And they've got issues, like guitar issues, like who's the better guitarist?
Oh, that's obvious, isn't it?
No, but you know what I mean. I'm just saying, who controls strategic direction or musical direction? That stuff. If we put that out, we might be more popular.
That's right. And someone's going to need to date a supermodel.
That's right. Yeah. I'm almost there.
I was going to say,
need a punch up on stage. Need a punch up on stage.
Punch up on stage, yeah, an aggressive moment. That's right, and then put it out on Facebook or whatever, and we'll score 1 million hits, and then we'll sell 5 more albums.
What about an upskirt photo getting out of a limo?
Oh, if you want to, you can do it.
I'll do that, and
you can show some nip too while you're going.
Yeah.
The Tea Gardens bugle will be all over it.
There's an old photo.
Wow.
Thanks, Dave.
That's ways back. Yeah.
Dave, can you talk so we can see you?
Yeah.
We'll just go boom, 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 boom.
Boom, 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 boom.
There it is. Look at that. 2 strats.
Wow.
Yeah. So
There you go.
how many? You're all in different bands, aren't you?
We're in this band.
Yeah.
Dad.
I think me and Andy are the only ones, aren't we?
There's one over there.
Yeah, I've got a concept band.
What's the concept?
Actually, I do. I've written quite a few songs, and I want to call it the therapy sessions. And songs like "Why Doesn't My Mother-in-Law Want to Talk to Me?" I seriously, and I might need some creative input from you. Another one called "Let's All Get Fucked Up." That's it's looming. It's called the therapy sessions. The album's going to be called Volume 1. That's one thing I've got going on.
I did
have you guys heard of the fuck, now I can't remember what they call it. Something Aussie Bogaliers or Bogaliers. No. They're from Melbourne, and they sent me an album, and it's every song title has the word cunt in it. Like out of I think 18, 19 songs, every one of them had the word cunt in them.
You just reminded me of my other song. My other song is called "Have Another Go," and the chorus goes, "Well, have another go and don't be a."
I think I can help you with this, Matt.
Yeah, it's coming out of me, Ant. So I might need some input.
I think we can do this.
Right.
I did a CD way back when. A mate of mine, she'd split up with a partner, and he'd just done some ridiculous shit on her. And anyway, we're sitting there on the drink one night, and she goes, I don't know what to do. I said, well, we'll write some songs.
Yeah. And
we wrote, I don't know, 6 or 7 songs, and it was just her just screaming everything. It was awesome. And it was really cool the way we recorded it, because we sat down and got some ideas for music, right? And I rang up Donnie, and I said, Donnie, I need you to record some drums for me. He goes, how do the songs go? I said, I'm not sure, but we're just going to jam and get some stuff. So I recorded his drums. I edited them all together to make these songs, and we did it all. And the thing was called "It's Cheaper Than Therapy."
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good how music can do that. You
It
can
just
get it
comes
out.
out. It sort of comes out of your pores, and it just through your fingertips. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, sometimes you just want to smash the crap out of your guitar or your drums, whatever it is. And it's amazing how you can get rid of that.
Yeah.
You know the face.
I do.
That is the front cover of the album. And you can, and there, oh, you can't see it. Anyway, it's got the Queen with no clothes on, smoking bongs. A box of Kleenexes. A Coke with $5 note rolled up. And here, I'll tell you the songs. Cunt Punk. Fuck every cunt. The Whippy Cunt. Piss on that cunt. Crooked cunt. My cum is done, cunt. Transgender fender bender cunts. Thump the cunt. Toboggan is fun, cunt. And
Do you want me to read it?
what's the last one?
Wonder Mum's shit on Sebastop.
Whatever that is. But yeah.
I like the one that says my tongue is done.
It sounds like an anal cunt record.
Anal punk. Is that a new subgenre?
No. There's a band, Anal Cunt.
Oh, I thought you said punk. Sorry, mate. I missed it.
Well, that's how my other band defines itself. It's cunt rock.
If you go onto YouTube and watch put on my show and go down to the Good Time Aussie Bogaliers, you watch that interview. There was only 2 of them in it, but they were drinking that you drink it with Red Bull.
Vodka?
It's an alcoholic drink, but you drink it with Red Bull.
Jägermeister?
Yes, that's it.
I don't drink it with Red Bull.
They had been drinking them, Jägerbomb. Yeah. They've been drinking that all day. And like I'm interviewing this guy and he's like this.
Oh, man. I remember getting on the Jägermeister way back when. It would have been 92-ish, 93-ish. I was living in a house in Hamilton. And we all got on the Jägermeister. And the next thing we know, we're in Sydney. we're seeing a band at the Cardoma Cafe.
What these songs?
No, they're not songs, Danny. That's just thanking people.
One of the boys, we'd crashed at a mate's place, and we'd left him. We didn't even realise he was with us. We just couldn't remember anything. And I get a phone call. This is Crebo. Get a phone call from him going, hey, where am I and where are you guys?
Sounds like a normal night out with Dave when we get on hit the Terps.
All right.
That's a nice photo.
Yeah, it is a good photo.
Just last time I had you're saying 92. I always thought it was a new thing, but I had Jager bombs with my editor, my good friend Jeff, and
hey Jeff.
I remember walking outside because we're in the caravan, and I remember walking outside to do a piss, and it was sunlight, and then next thing I know is I walk, like 8 hours later, I walk outside to do a piss, and I said, fucking hell, man, when's it going to get dark? And Jeff turned around and goes, mate, it has been dark.
It's morning.
It's morning. It's like 8:30 in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Well, I remember the hot metal magazines when we were kids.
Yeah.
I remember reading an interview in there with it was about the Metallica tour in '92, I guess it was. No, when did they come out for Justice for All?
Oh,
80,
okay, yeah.
89, 88,
89. Yeah.
89. And there was an interview in Hot Metal magazine, and it was titled "How I Nearly Died with Metallica," and it was basically Metallica introduced this guy to Jägermeister. So at which point we were introduced to Jägermeister. We've got to find it. Metallica drink it. We've got to drink it. Oh man, different kind of drunk. It's great.
Oh shit! Yeah. Did you ever remember the fucking? They even had a funny name, Nikloff. It was in a cask and it was vodka and orange.
What was it called?
But you got it in a cask. And it came from New Zealand and wasn't refrigerated. So when it got to the shelves in Australia, you got the vodka and fermented orange juice. So you're just like the whole fucking thing's just extreme fucking alcohol.
Oh shit!
And then, yeah, it came in 5 liters. Oh my God, that stuff was insanity. I got hit by a bus one night. I don't know if you remember the venue, the Playroom on the Gold Coast. Yeah, I was there watching Motorhead play 3 songs.
Dad,
They got get my record out of the dog's mouth now. Yeah, yeah, it was the night that Motorhead played, and they only played 3 songs because some dickhead was throwing bottles at them. And we'd been drinking. I think we went through 3 casks of this Nick off shit, and the playroom was on the highway, and there was a bridge, and yeah, I'm trying to find my way home, crossing this bridge and shit, and got hit by a bus.
when?
And it was like, yeah.
Lucky you were pissed. You could have come out unscathed.
Yeah. I was hospitalised for 3 days. The only break I had was my jaw. So my head's hit either the ground, the bus, fucking. Are you going out the backyard to do a PS?
Nah, my next door neighbour started whippersnippering.
Oh, okay. Because
if you're watching this, Jason, you're in trouble.
People do that. So many people I've had that are in the interview and walk along. Yeah. Psst.
It's all right. I'm right near the fridge, so that makes it better. Hang on 2 ticks. Woohoo!
Before we go, talk to me about the Perpetrators. What's coming up? We're on board now, so the interviews, you don't have to wait 6 months for them to come out now. We've caught up. So finally caught up. And yeah, so it'll be out soon in the next couple of days. So if you've got something to say, where you're playing, you got a gig happening in the next 2 weeks or something, just tell us about what's happening with the Perpetrators.
Dave, have you got the dates, Andy?
Yep. 2nd of December at Holmesville Hotel in support of Damnation, Don Scott tribute band. So we'll be there from 5:30 p.m. on December the 2nd at Holmesville.
That's gonna be a really good show. That venue, apparently, as far as like the pub rock stuff, is going fucking ballistic.
It's a good place. It is a good venue.
Yeah, and I saw a photo last time out there. They were on the back of a truck out the back, so it was a bit like sort of Day on the Green sort of thing, you know, where they've got the people actually outside the pub. Looks like that's how they're going to do it out there rather than inside. Although they do a good stage here at Holmesville. Anyway, that should be a hoot for that one. And then we're at Hamilton Station Hotel, I do believe, Humpy, on
Oh,
Friday
that's in March. I think we're at Tea Gardens Hotel at the end of December. Before then,
30th of December. 30th of December, day before New Year's Eve at Tea Gardens Hotel.
it's our bass player's pre-birthday bash.
Pre-birthday bash. Yep.
Happy
So
birthday, Andy.
I don't know how that's going to go. It's in the day before New Year's Eve. There's going to be many people out, but anyway, we'll have a good time. Yeah, and then obviously we're in the studio to have a second crack at our second album at the end of November. So hopefully we'll get that done and we'll actually get it down on tape, physical tape. Everyone's got to bring a thumb drive, right? And everyone gets a copy of it before we leave.
Well,
I've got one sitting right there.
I've actually got a spin-off to this show called Sharing a Drink with Matt, the album reviews. So, when you get closer to that, I think we should do an album review with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'll send you the first album. I'll post it down.
Oh, magic.
Yeah. But the recording, hopefully we'll get that sorted sooner rather than later. That's going to be at RTN with Jeff,
Okay.
where everybody in Newcastle does everything.
Yeah.
So
I thought
it should be good.
Newcastle get everything done in Melbourne.
Everyone, well, all the punk guys are getting shit mastered down there by, I can't remember his name. He was in his studio's called Goat Sound. Can't remember the band he was in. He does good stuff mastering. And then Mike Fox is doing everybody's artwork.
Oh, man.
Not ours.
Oh.
we can't afford him.
Have you got an artist yourself? Like one of his artistic?
Our bass player's an art teacher.
Hey?
Andy's an art teacher, isn't he, Matt?
He is. And then we've also got our singer's daughter, who's a creative cat too. So we've got we've got tendrils in our network where we encourage it to come forward and through amongst us. And then of course, we're the head of concepts, me, Ant and Dave. We always come up with the ideas and it's just, I love it. I love having ideas.
We're surprisingly DIY.
We are, and that's what it's about,
It's good.
A lot of bands have been taking that option, really.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier with the internet, it gives you the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Like you can do stuff from home. You can put it all together. You don't need special equipment anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's better than, scissors and a newspaper to cut out words.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just better.
So good. Like I'm mildly disappointed. We went to the studio and we got all the backing stuff down and everything was there. It was solid. And then my time coming to do solos, and I had all the backing tracks here, so I could just be at home and then just play them and then come up with what I was going to do in the studio, not to waste time. So when I was there, I was there. It's great. Don't get me wrong, technology is great for that. But then, the other side to it is you've got your best plans kind of laid, and then I'll play something, and then I'll look at Ant, and Ant will go, nah, didn't work, Matt. Doesn't work. So
who's this Ant you speak of?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the other part. You've got to be around people to get that sort of blessing or that input, that
reaction.
That's what makes a band. That's the best part in my books.
And that's the thing, the faces each other pull, or
Well, got to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you again, Humpy, for fucking being.
No worries, brother. I swear this is the last of my bands for the time being. Unless me and Dave do something with the PFJ, then you're going to hear about that.
We got the therapy sessions coming up.
The Matt Woiko project, the NWP, the
Right.
MGMP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Goulburn, so thank you all.
Safe travels.
Yep.
You sure is loud.